Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm here to guide you through a three-part series into understanding how technology works with art and how we can use it in our practice. In the first episode, we will be going through the basics and getting started. In the second episode would be the one where we go into the actual coding and looking at some of these circuits that we're going to make. And the third part, we will be concluding the whole three-part series and making a project which we can use later on. So for our first episode, I will first do a little introduction. Then we'll look at some foundation into electronics, and then we will look at what we need to begin. The artwork you see on the screen is my favorite artwork. In this artwork, I collected uh, drawings of children's imagination of chairs, and I built them into a real chair or into real chairs. This was in Medini Johor, right at the entrance of Legoland. These are some of my other artworks. I really like to use machines in my artwork because I feel they have a more neutral feeling to some of these messages I want to tell. So machines allow me to take a lighter tone to some serious messages, like how we use memes on the internet nowadays. There are many common themes in using technology within the arts. Uh, four of my favorite or what I pick up are the analog kind, machine as the artist, the Internet of Things art, which is like also known as network art, and data art, which relies on data. Let's look at some examples. Analog art is generally art that does not need any microcontrollers or any computers. They just work with light, shadow, um, movement, like a clock. It's all analog. Another type of artwork would be the machine as an artist. So the machine would be producing the artwork, and we just provide the parameters or the setting for the robot to or the machine to do the artwork. Next, we have IoT art or network art, where the artwork is generally connected to interactions through the internet. Uh, Here we have this quite famous, quite well-known Twitch stream, yeah, about playing Pokemon by having a fish swim up, down, left, right. The place of the fish will be captured through a camera and interpreted as buttons on a game. So it's like a fish playing Pokemon. Next, we have a kind of artwork that involves interpreting data layers or data in a tangible space like our space. So here we have uh, a kind of artwork where they visualize the strength of Wi-Fi signals through light paintings. All right, so now we're going to a more serious part. All right, so the basics of programming or what we intend to achieve with a machine, it's an input and output scenario. Okay, this diagram here is the most important diagram which would appear in every episode. Okay, so for the first part, we have an input. Okay, in real world, let's say we accidentally put our hands on a hot fire. and our hands feel warm and it starts to burn and we go ow. Okay, so how do we know when to say ow, or when our brain thinks and receives the information from the hand that says it's too hot, it's getting burned? And the output would be your brain telling you or your other muscles to move your hands away. So your muscles don't actually instantly move. They need the brain to tell the muscles, hey, my hand is hot, move your hands. Okay? So like a human, a computer goes through this process, okay? The input or what's happening, and then the brain interpreting that what happening, and the output what to do, okay? In the machines that we're gonna make, we would have the input through sensors. In this picture, it's an ultrasonic sensor. That means it senses distance through sound. And then we have a microcontroller, which we will be using the Arduino. The Arduino would be the brain. So we interpreting the sensors input and producing a signal for the output. Like what shall we do when we receive the information from the sensor? So the output could be on an LED to produce light signals, or a buzzer to produce sound, a motor to produce movement, or it could just go into another switch or microcontroller to produce a bigger process. Okay, so a little bit more about Arduinos. Arduinos are a set or a family of open source prototyping electronics. They are easy to use and they are multi-purpose. It means we could use it for a small art project, or we can also use it for a real industrial use project. It is very versatile, and in this slide, I put in a few of them. One of them being Nano, which is the tiny one, and Mega, which is the big one. And then you have the Unos, which are like the standard ones. The one that I use would be the purple one, or the Maker Uno, which is locally produced, so it's cheaper for me. For the Arduino, we have something called shields, and shields are add-on modules on top of the Arduino. They provide additional functionality that isn't available on the original Arduino. Things like Wi-Fi ability, GPS, and things like media player buttons, LCD screens. Yeah, they just plug on top. So putting a few shields together, or one shield at least, can enable you to make a ready-made gadget. This one here is, if I believe it's a MP3 player, a Bluetooth MP3 player. So here are some examples of the other shields: joystick, LCD screens, buttons, keypad, Wi-Fi, and so on. So for this three-part series, what do we need? Okay, we don't really need anything. If you just starting out, it's best to just use Tinkercad. Okay, Tinkercad is a really powerful software which enables us to program things and connect circuits in a simulated mode, or just on computer, just on a screen, right? It's on a browser. So if you think you like to use, or you like programming or have interest, you can just continue on and get the actual Arduino. For those who would like to purchase the whole set, uh, you can get the Arduino Uno, some resistors. My favorite will be 1 kilo ohm or 220 ohm at least, okay? And ultrasonic sensor would be necessary for our next lesson. And then we need a breadboard, some LEDs of your favorite color, and jumper wires. Okay, I put down the list over here. You can just look it up. Uh, my favorite place to get it would be here at Citron. You can also get the set, but you would need to get the ultrasonic sensor and it does not come with it. So you can get everything here, all these components and stuff. So let's recap. For the first episode, we look at some inspirations. We ran through the basics, the input and the output, and we look at what we need to begin. Okay, we need at least Tinkercad on the computer, or we need the Arduino, some LEDs, a sensor, an ultrasonic sensor in this case, some jumper wires, and some resistors. I look forward to see all of you in the next episode. Until then, I would like to thank my supporters, Pemule, My Creative, Cendana, and everyone out there. Thank you.